Back to mommy. All right, buddy. Oh, mommy's so proud. Welcome to pregnancy week 15. So as you can see from last week and this week, I've decided to start my vlogs off in a little bit different way. I'm just showing a little highlight from my week just as my intro. So yeah, as you can see, Alex is officially walking and we are so excited because he's a bit of a late walker. He's 18 months old. He did take his first steps a couple weeks ago, like the day before he turned 18 months, but he's still been needing some encouragement and, you know, still doesn't do it on his own. But today my mom was over helping with him, and we've been doing, when she comes over, we've been doing walking practice. And so we got him going and like something clicked for him and he just took off. He started totally getting, we moved our chairs further and further apart and he just kept going, and at one point he like took a turn and just like kept going around the kitchen, and we were so excited. Like I had tears in my eyes. I was so excited. Since he's been a little late on walking, like, you know, his doctor isn't that worried, but she said, well, let's check in again at 19 months, and if he's still not walking by then, we'll maybe have him see a physical therapist, just because like obviously the rest of his development is fine. It's not an indicator of any sort of other problem or anything. He's just taking his time. You know, even though he's behind with like some of the gross motor skills, walking, he's like way ahead with the verbal stuff. He's 18 months and we're guessing he has over 300 words, like, and he's talking in short sentences and repeating absolutely everything we say. Like he knows words I didn't even know he knew. He'll just sometimes like come up with stuff that I was like, buddy, I didn't even know you knew that. That's awesome. So yeah, like developmentally he's doing fine, and he's like way ahead in the verbal but like behind on the walking. So, but I've talked with a lot of people, and you know, people who've had kids before, and they're like, you know, they just do it in their own time unless there's something like glaringly wrong or their development is moving backwards. I mean, as long as their development is going in a forward motion, everything is fine. You know, I've been trying not to worry too much, although I have been excited for him to walk. Especially since I'm on bed rest and I can't pick him up. And so, I mean, he crawls all over the place, but it's really exciting to be moving into that phase now. So that was a big milestone of this week and we're all very excited. So moving on to week 15 update for my pregnancy. This will probably be a pretty short one. It's been a pretty uneventful week this week, which is good. But yeah, I'm still on bed rest, and but I'm noticing that I am feeling a lot better. Like I had mentioned before that when I felt like I was overdoing it, I'd get this kind of like achy feeling in my uterus area, which was kind of like my body's way of saying you're doing too much, you need to slow down, you need to go lie down. But this week I haven't been feeling that as much, and I have been able to feel like I've been doing more stuff around the house and my body is okay with that. So I'm really excited about that. I'm hoping that's a sign that things are actually healing in there. We'll see at the 18-week ultrasound how it's actually doing. But that's really encouraging to me, just listening to my body. My body's definitely feeling better. When my mom was here today, we took a little trip to a small used bookstore that's in our town. As I mentioned before, Bill and I call each other cheap and cheaper. We hardly buy anything new. We're very frugal, and we try to be wise with our money. And especially since I'm not working, you know, we save so much money on childcare by me staying at home, but at the same time, like, I don't have an income, so, you know, we compensate for that by just living frugally. So anyway, my mom and I and Alex went to this little used bookstore in the new town that we live in today, and it was just a cute little place. It had all these like little small little rooms with different areas of books and even like little play areas for kids, and it was adorable. I really liked it, and there was a special little room for the kids' books, and all of the books in there were 99 cents each, unless it was a like a bigger hardbound book. You know, those were like half of the listed price or whatever. So basically I got 17 books for 22 bucks. It was awesome. Because Alex is such a verbal little kid and just obsessed with letters and numbers and shapes and just talking up a storm and books. He is a little bookworm, like, I kid you not. The other day I left him upstairs to play by himself for a while, and it was really quiet, and after a while I came back up and I found him looking like this. Yeah, he's a little bookworm. He had been sitting there for half an hour, lying there looking at his books. And then when I got there, he got all excited because he wanted me to read to him some more. So I sat and read to him for like another half an hour. And then he crawled down the stairs and found Daddy, and then asked Daddy to read to him some more, even after all that. So he is obsessed with books, and I love that about him. So, and he's just getting tired. We have a ton of books, but he's gone through all of them, and you know, we're all getting tired of reading the same books over and over, so that's why we took that little trip to the used bookstore today and got a bunch of new books for him, so that's exciting. In terms of my bed rest, it was just a short little excursion, and my mom was there to help lift Alex in and out of the car and everything, and it just feels so good to get out of the house when I can get out of the house, even if it's just something simple like that. It felt great. So anyway, so yes, feeling better physically, feeling like I'm able to do a little bit more now, so that's awesome. Mentally and emotionally, I am doing much better than last week too. As you saw, I mean, I was already on the upswing when I filmed last week, you know, after my little low point before. But yeah, I think because I am physically feeling better and feeling like I'm able to at least do more around the house, I think that's really helping my mental health as well. So I've been feeling great this week. I'm tired, but what else is new? I feel like other than that, I'm like emotionally and mentally doing well this week, so that's great too. For cravings this week, my cravings have kind of been pretty consistent throughout this pregnancy. I mean, I said in an earlier vlog that peaches were like, I was obsessed with peaches for a couple weeks, but now it's just kind of broadened to fruit in general. All I want to eat is fruit all day. I just really crave that like sweet juiciness. And you know, so I like plums and pears, apples, just lots of fruit. So that's good. I'm glad I'm craving something healthy, and I do crave juice too, and we generally do try to avoid juice, especially any juices that come from concentrate and have any added sugar. We try to avoid that kind of juice. But I sometimes, especially in the morning, like when my blood sugar is low, I just have this strong craving for juice, and I'll give in to that, and I just try to have a little bit just to satisfy the craving, but not go overboard. So another symptom I've been noticing is round ligament pain. Oh my goodness. I think I felt this when I was pregnant with Alex before, but I don't remember it being quite as prominent. The round ligaments are, they're attached to the two sides of your uterus and kind of anchor your uterus to your spine, I believe. I'll pull up a picture and put it here. But anyway, if I twist the wrong way, especially if I like roll over in bed, just the muscle that I use to roll over pulls on those ligaments, and I just get these like stabbing pains on each side of my belly, and oh, it's uncomfortable. I mean, granted, I've been through natural childbirth and like I can handle a little round ligament pain, but it's still like when I'm not expecting, it's like, ooh, I get these little jabbing pains, and it's uncomfortable, but whatever, I'm dealing with it. It means uterus is getting bigger and bigger, and that's a sign because they're stretching out. So another awesome thing, I know I mentioned before a couple weeks ago that I felt the first movements of baby, just these little like twitchy movements, but they were really infrequent for a while, and I would just feel them every once in a while. But this week especially, I've started to notice that those movements have really started to pick up. And it's not like it's super frequent, like I know it will be in a few weeks, but I do notice it like a few times a day now. I'm like, oh, hi baby. You know, it just feels like I can feel these two little feet going doo, 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 doo. And it's adorable. And I'm like, oh, I just know that those are little feet and little hands in there just poking me from the inside. And I just love that feeling. So even though it's not super frequent yet, it's still like reassuring, but I do feel that. And that's like one of the best parts of pregnancy for me, is just feeling baby move. It's like this reminder, like, oh yeah, there's a baby in there. It's amazing, and there's nothing like it. I also know that I mentioned last week that we were really trying to get our whole childcare situation figured out while I'm on bed rest and unable to lift Alex and all that. And so I feel like we are finally in the clear. We have it all worked out for the next 2 weeks until my 2-3 weeks until my 18-week ultrasound, which is like the point we'll see exactly how the hematoma is doing. It was real stressful getting all that figured out, but it is figured out now, and we have complete coverage every day of the week basically until my ultrasound, so that's great. Bill can work. There are a couple days he has to do a half day, but that's not a big deal. So we're just so glad to have that set now. My friend and her little guy, who's about Alex's age, started helping me on Mondays and Tuesdays, like I mentioned, and that's been working out great. I am just so happy that Alex gets that social time, you know, and they're still at the age where they like parallel play, where they're not actually like interacting much with each other, but I still think it's important for him to just have that time around other kids his age. And they do enjoy like sitting together and listening to a story and that kind of thing. And I think it's good. I was talking with her and we're like, oh, this is going to be good for him, because her little guy is like very busy and he likes, you know, getting things out and lining them up and organizing things, and he's, you know, obviously walking and running around, whereas Alex is just like super mellow, like he could just sit and read books all day. And like he, you know, like I mentioned, he hasn't been like super interested in walking. Now he is, like I said in the beginning, but you know, he'd much rather, instead of doing physical things, he'd much rather just like sit and do quiet activities. So and is extremely verbal. So we're thinking, oh, well, these guys will be great for each other. You know, maybe one will motivate the other to walk and one will motivate the other to talk, you know? So we're like, this is good for everyone. So I'm so thankful that that worked out. And my mom is coming on Wednesday, Thursdays, and then I just have various random friends helping me on Fridays as well. And my mom will actually be coming for half days on some of those Fridays too. So I am so glad that that is finally, all of the kinks are worked out, and we're covered on that, because that's just a huge load off my mind, and I feel like I can relax now. So that's another reason I'm feeling great this week. Yeah, the last thing I was just going to mention is, you know, since I haven't been getting out much, you know, I mentioned that I've been spending some of my time on bed rest researching churches, since we're you know, we moved to a new house in June, and I mentioned a couple blogs ago that we had to leave our old church that we loved because it was just a little bit too far and the timing doesn't work great with Alex's schedule. A couple weeks ago I made a short list of churches that we thought would be a really good fit for us, that we wanted to try out, and this last week Bill and I, like during dinner time together, will listen to like the podcast sermons from this and that church, just to like narrow it down even further, just to see if like, because we feel like we can tell a lot about the philosophies and like the worldview of a church through the pastor and the sermons and whatnot, because we just want to be at a place that we feel like our philosophy jives well with the church. So we've narrowed it down. we've listened to podcasts from 2 or 3 churches now, and there's one in particular that we want to go see now. So I'm not sure if we'll go this weekend or not. Depends on how I'm feeling. You know, I can do these little like short trips to the bookstore, but like church is like a much bigger production, and you know, we have to get Alex in the nursery, and it's a lot of socializing. It's a lot longer period of time, so I'm not quite sure if we'll try going to church before I'm off bed rest or if we'll wait, but we're just kind of playing it by ear and seeing how I feel each Sunday. So, but it's good that we have, for now we have a number 1 candidate that we want to go check out. So, so that's been nice. And it's been kind of nice too, just since we haven't been to church so long, listening to the sermons together online. It's like, at least Bill and I are getting a little bit of that spiritual fulfillment every week when we listen to those together. So kind of doing church from home while I'm on bed rest. So anyway, short update, that's it for this week. So anyway, I'll show you a quick belly shot. Alright guys, here's the belly for week 15. I'm in like full maternity clothes now. I was still trying to make it stretch with some of my, so to speak, with some of my regular t-shirts and whatnot, and it was just like starting to look ridiculous. So yeah, anyway, here it is from the front. And the side, and the other side. My belly is definitely protruding. I was telling Bill that I'm just the beginnings of the point where I have to like watch my belly, like where I'm going, because like if I'm not careful in the kitchen, I'll like swing around and like accidentally like bump the counter or something. I'm like, oh, I better start being a little more careful. Like, my proprioception is a little different now. Like, I have to be a little more aware of where my belly is in space around me. Get bigger and bigger every week. Anyway, that's it for this week, you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I just wanted to thank all of you new subscribers as well. I just appreciate all of your support, and I've gotten some really nice comments, and I just appreciate all of that. So anyway, if you haven't already, be sure to hit the subscribe button below, and if you like this video, click the thumbs up button, and we'll see you next week for week 16. Bye!